What is up? Let's get hyped. Second round, sixth man, we're here. We have got the big four. We've got Lancashire Lambert. We've got House Lasky. We've got House of O3. We're in the house, and we've got the sixth man, myself. I'm not going to intro myself. That's a little bit lame. As you can see, Ed is wearing his Chelsea kit. He's being extra keen. I had to bring it up. The two stars represent. Again, this is what we're saying. I rate it, but I don't at the same time. I rate how keen he is. And if, the Sixers were ever to win a championship, I'd probably do the same. I'd probably do the same.
To be fair, this is the last club talk before we get into Euro, so this will be the last club thing that will be going on until the England tops start coming out.
Is that why you wore it?
Oh no.
We'll be reunited, and it's coming home. It's coming home. Of course it is. It always is. But we're going to switch from football and head to basketball, which is what we should be talking about. We're going to head to the second round matchups. The first second round matchup we're going to be talking about is the series that I thought was going to be the closest has completely gone out the window. The Brooklyn Nets have just ripped up the script, just thrown it everywhere. They're up 2-0. Obviously, George has the Nets, and Ed has the Bucks. I'm just going to leave it in the capable hands of you guys to just talk about this series. We haven't spoken about it yet. Just take it away, because I'm a bit in shock.
How the tides of the sixth man have turned. Myself and George leading 1-2 the whole year during the regular season. We get 4 picks each when it comes to the playoffs, and we're each left with one team. And funny enough, they're against each other. So either the first seed or the second seed for sixth man is out for this round. Quite just interesting, just a mini story within the overall story of Bucks Nets. The most important thing is the sixth man, of course, within the Bucks Nets series. Now, okay, let me talk a little bit about the Bucks. So Giannis is the number one thing that people talk about from Bucks perspective. Actually, no, before we get to Giannis, one thing that wasn't spoken about was DiVincenzo going out in the last series against Miami. And I remember texting Brandon about this, our Miami fan, saying, oh shit, DiVincenzo's out. Like, that's quite big for the Bucks. He's like, but he was in Miami mode. He's like, that's fine. We're already eliminated. It doesn't matter. So cool. DiVincenzo was really good for the Bucks because he was their secondary ball handler. He was one of their main ball handlers and one of their main three-point shooters on the team. So that was a bit disappointing for the Bucks. However, that is still no excuse. Giannis, first thing I want to talk about. Against Miami, he didn't necessarily shoot that well in the Miami 4-game series, considering they won. Can you guess Giannis's 3-point percentage against Miami? He took an average of 4 a game, and in total it was 16 shots. How many do you think he made out of 16 shots? How many 3-pointers?
25%.
So 16, that's 4. Alex, Jordan, how much do you think? How many of those 16, how many 3-points do you think he made?
I don't want you to be angry at me, but I'm going to say 0.
George?
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to go 6.
Alex is the closest. He made 1 3-pointer in the whole series. He was, let me get the percentage right, 3.6% from 3. So that again, that was the initial sense. Okay, shit. Like, it's not like he went hot or cold. He was just freezing cold the whole series. However, from 2-pointer, from 2 points, he was 40. Oh, sure. Let me get that. However, overall from field goal range, he was 46%. So that was, again, not what you wanted for Giannis, for someone who's predominantly in the paint and not shooting a lot of jumpers. We get to the 2 games against Brooklyn. He's already shooting more 3-pointers. He's taken 8 and he's made 2. So that's already better, but still not good enough. And the confusing thing is that his field goal percentage is a lot better. First game, 16 out of 24. Second game, 8 of 15. But we're just purely looking at box score here, which is something I don't like to do. Which is why I want to focus more on Middleton and Middleton, the guy I was speaking about most of the year, who I said should be doing better and is the key to the Bucks doing well. We understand now what Jrue Holiday brings in terms of defensive perspective and also a little bit else on the offensive. However, we haven't seen this so far. Kyrie has still been going off, and this is without James Harden. Middleton, as I've always mentioned, has been the key. I rate him quite highly. We saw him, Alex, when we watched the game against the Nets earlier on this year, where he played really, really well, had some really nice ISO plays that can get buckets for the Bucks, which then changes the Nets' defensive scheme. that's the guy I've been most disappointed with, and I hope he will pick it up in the 2 home games that the Bucks have got coming up. So I'm looking for Middleton to have a big impact, and then the rest of the team to feed off that. It's not necessarily the main opinion. I know people will look at Giannis first because he's the star player, 2-time MVP, etc. I'm more looking at the impact Middleton can have and the rest of the impact that can have on the team.
Lovely. Yeah. So
You must be happy, man.
Yeah, from the Nets side, I'm happy. Exactly, I'm happy. Like, I've been saying to myself ever since I lost all my other teams, I've been saying, hey, I'm okay. I only need one. There can only be one champion. One team just needs to make it to the finals anyway, so it's good. But yeah, like you said, I was shocked with this series. I was actually, when we were first looking at the playoffs and the route the Nets had to take, I was actually more worried for the Bucks. When they were coming up, and I thought it was going to be a lot tighter. But obviously the Nets has been going through it. And even with the Harden injury early on, putting him out, the Nets have just been playing through KD, and it's been working. Like, he's been going out there.
Ridiculous.
Doing what he wants, picking their defense apart, running back. Like, at the moment, he's averaging 30 points in the series. 30 points. Which is absolutely insane. And even though KD's been performing amazingly, we've got some great performances from the role players on the team, who's been picking up their games and just taking on their roles, like performances from Joe Harris. He's been putting in the work there, driving in the lanes, and making those 3-point shots and just sticking to their roles there. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't always play off the way they want to. They get a lucky with a couple of shots, but they're still putting that effort out there. And Blake Griffin as well. He's been putting on a show. Like, but do you remember the conversation when we had earlier in the Sixth Man saying, "Oh, it's sad to watch Blake Griffin. This could be him on his way out and everything." And now he's picking it up. He's going up there, getting the dunks, and really fighting to get those shots in. So he's
gone
really
in
good.
the Captain America chamber. You know,
yeah, exactly.
He's gone from this worthless piece to he's the Nets glue guy, and he's
literally.
You've seen that clip of Giannis that I think SportsCenter did, where Giannis has the Raven flashback of Blake doing all those dunks, and then Blake obviously jammed on him. It's just shocking, man. Yeah,
it's amazing. So it's good news, really good news for Nets. I think this puts them in a very advantageous situation, depending on where Steve Nash wants to play it. Obviously, because we're waiting for both Jeff Green and James Harden, which are both out with injuries. So if they play their cards right and do it well and get out another victory, that could potentially mean more resting time for them if they see a comfortable series win over them. So very confident position for them right now at the moment, but we'll see where it goes. Last game as well, as Ed was mentioning about Giannis, he only finished with 18 points a game that game. So
if you're the Bucks, and I know the TNT crew were talking about this, there's two things. Giannis has got to say to himself, hook or by crook, I am going in, I'm dominating, I'm heading to the rim at every opportunity I can, putting the pressure on them from an interior standpoint. And also, they've just got to play mean, because you get blown out by 40 or odd points. There's no way the Bucks are 40 points worse than the Nets. They need to go out and at least make this game competitive. I'm hoping that Coach Bud has an adjustments, but this is why I didn't pick Milwaukee, because Coach Bud, he hasn't proven himself in the playoffs.
Did take Atlanta to the Eastern Conference Finals back in the day, which that's decent. They lost to LeBron, so. But I get what you mean. The point still stands. Bud is known to flame out in the playoffs and has done for the last couple of years with the MVP and with Giannis there. Then we get into more technical stuff. Whose main culprit? Is it Giannis? Is it Bud?
Yeah.
Is it the roster? Blah, blah, blah. And that's when it gets all grey. But yeah, Jordan, as you were saying, Bucks do just need to play mean. They need that a bit of nasty streak in them and go out swinging. But obviously, calculated swinging, not swinging to the detriment of your team in terms of getting stupid fouls, etc. But the Nets are just getting whatever they want. Watching KD play, it's genuinely like a man against kids because of his height and his ability to play like a guard and shoot over the top of people. Again, the game we watched with the Bucks Nets earlier on in the year, where Giannis got a couple of those blocks on KD when KD shooting because of Giannis's length, he can put a hand up there. But now KD is just jumping over Giannis, and because of how high it's just the complete opposite of what we saw earlier on. But yeah, game 3, we'll see what happens when we're in Wisconsin.
Give me, from both of you, give me a series prediction.
Bucks in 6.
Nets in 5.
Gentleman's sweep. Very interesting. Okay.